I retired early at 61 and moved to Egypt. There was plan A, and I ended up at plan E. Deciding to retire was not just one decision, it was several decisions over many months. About 8 months ago, things significantly changed at work, and the stress level just went through the roof for me. People were leaving, different leadership. There was just a lot going on, and I just didn't find the joy that I had before. I'd been at this company for 17 years, and the last 2.5 were probably, well, last year was probably the most difficult. And so when I decided that I had to, it wasn't can, it was how. And how started with plan A. And plan A, after doing some research, was to rent out a couple rooms temporarily to healthcare workers. This was a big deal during COVID. They would come for 3 to 6 months on contract, which is still happening. I talked to someone who had experience with it for years. I had a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, so I knew I'd rent one room for sure. Actually bought a bed and a nightstand and started to set it up. Thought, well, gosh, can I get that second one in? Because that would really help. And I did the math, kept doing the math, and then realized that yes, it would help cover the bulk of the expenses, but I wouldn't have anything extra to travel. And I've been traveling since I was in middle school. Some would call it junior high. And that's something that I wanted to do again, and that takes money. So plan A went out the window, and then there was plan B. Plan B was I talked to my best friend, can't believe she agreed to this, to move into my house, and she rent out those 2 rooms. She was renting a place. This would allow me to have a little extra money to go and travel. I was very resistant to what ended up really happening, and it took me several months to get there. It was like a thought process. I just kind of had to do everything before that and go, okay, yeah, I got to do that. So that was plan B. Plan C was I worked with a company that helps you rent out your home as an Airbnb. Then it would stay furnished. I could keep the bulk of the furniture that wasn't like really valuable. I had an old couch and enough to furnish the house, had the bed, everything. And then that was a lot of work. And how would I manage that while I'm traveling? I thought, well, maybe I'd come back during the time when it wasn't rented, and then the more I look into it, the more work it really became, and I wasn't quite sure if I was up for that. So that was plan C. So then plan D was to rent out my house long term and travel, slow travel. So I'll talk about this later, but slow travel is basically you don't go somewhere for a week or 2, you go for a month or 2, and just really experience the culture. I'm not in a hurry. I've done a lot of traveling. I don't want to do the tourist route. But then money was an issue because there needed to, when I found a property management company, I kind of asked them if it could stay furnished. They said, no, it really needs to be empty for the area. And I needed to have repairs done before it could be rented. Things that didn't really bother me. Kitchen counters, I needed new flooring in the kitchen. I needed the fence fixed because it was leaning over. I needed the deck refinished. So that cost a pretty penny, and so that really limited me being able to rent the house and just go slow travel. So that was plan D. Plan E, keep the property management company, do all the repairs over a few months, and move to Egypt. Seems a little bizarre and extreme, I realize that, but I have family here. My son is half Egyptian, so I'm able to live here at very low cost while I accumulate and pay off those expenses to be able to slow travel, which is the ultimate goal and something I'm working on. Let me know if you have any questions, and join me if you'd like. This is Malesh Abroad. Malesh in Egypt means it's okay, never mind.